out. So I've been also putting together kind of like a little postcard to send out to all of my friends and family and things like that. So just kind of a lot of like little tweaks and touches and just trying to get everything together, I guess.
Well, and now, now the fact that you have addresses is fantastic. And then your next job with that, once you get them into the referral maker, will be to qualify them. It's called sorting and qualifying. And I'll do a little brush over of that tonight while we're talking. So
Yeah, and I met with two of my friends that are also realtors in Better Homes and just kind of talked with them about what helped them get started and what was most beneficial. And did send out some personal notes that weren't necessarily like related to business, but just trying to drop a line to people and things like that. So
yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, and look, just take your time. It does not going to go anywhere. So
yeah.
time. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I like I said, I feel like I'm just trying to catch up a little bit. So
Tracy? Tracy, yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so I feel like I'm catching on, to the processes and the way that we're, encouraged to do things. I mean, he just lays it out so nice and easy to understand and get you excited about going. But I had to take notes because I can't remember everything. But I spent the weekend going to graduation parties, and because, social media and posting some of the things that I've been involved with recently with real estate, a lot of people that I know were at those parties that were excited to talk about real estate. So that was, I don't know, kind of like almost like a coming out party for me. Like, hey, I'm in real estate. Let's talk about the business. And so, I mean, that really dominated a lot of the conversations that I was having with, friends and acquaintances there and stuff.
Everybody wants to talk real estate.
Yeah. And then out of that, I have an acquaintance who invited me to get together with her, and she works for a company that handles estates. So she's like, I don't have an agent that I refer people to on the regular. So let's get together and talk about, maybe putting together a little packet or something that I could pass on to some of my clients. So to me, that felt like a really huge step in the right direction. Yeah.
Love it.
That's
For you.
The business to business partners that are going to help take your business. There's all different facets of your business, and the business to business partners is one of the most important. That a lot of people leave that on the table, which is it's like ducks in a duck pond. The estate people, what do they have? I mean, there's always going to be a house involved. So it's a great connection to have. So cool. Keep talking.
Yeah.
That's the most important piece.
Yep.
Nicole.
Hey guys.
Hey.
So I feel a little bit, so doing this process now, I feel a little bit like I'm starting over. Because when I started in 2019, I sent out all of my, all my letters to people telling them that I was in real estate. Looking back, I don't think I really put as much thoughtfulness into it as I should have. I think I was just really nervous, and I wanted it to sound professional, so it maybe didn't sound like me. So when I'm just thinking about when I'm thinking about that, that is like really important for me when I'm sending out personal notes now, is to just be myself and not have to think I have to sound like a real estate agent, I guess. So, and then in 2020, I really didn't do anything with real estate, but something that I was always fearful of was like talking to people about real estate, because I didn't feel very knowledgeable about it. I didn't feel like I could speak very educatedly about it because I just wasn't in it yet. I hadn't done anything. So listening to a lot of ATAs, listening to a lot of other agents, talking with other agents, and in 2020, I was part of like the Boomtown thing. So I had some leads that I was at least able to work. I didn't get anywhere with them. I learned some really ridiculous lessons. I really had like the craziest things. I was always like, why me? Like, I don't know. But so now I'm finding that just when I'm like around friends or family, they're asking me more questions and I'm able to answer questions, which just feels good. Like, okay, I'm not completely clueless. And then as far as the notes, I took Tim's advice last week, which I thought was really great because I tend to like, I'll talk to so many people and then I'll forget that I even talked to you, like not meaningfully forget. I wouldn't remember to write.
Right.
So I went back in my phone and I looked at all of my text messages and I'm like, okay, I'm going to send letters to all of these people that I've spoke with. And then my one client that we've wrote 4 offers now, I think, and we continuously lose. I love what you did, Alicia. That is like a killer idea. I have tried to reach out to some people that wanted to list and to see if they were ready and they weren't. But anyways, so I asked them for their address and that wasn't awkward at all. So you can just ask people and they're totally willing to give it to you. So,
Great.
Beautiful.
Sounds like
Love
you've
it.
really shifted. And maybe you just needed that time to, sit back and decide what kind of an agent you're going to be. Now you're a trusted advisor. You went from new agent fumbling around to being a trusted advisor. You took all that time and studied. And so I think that's wonderful.
Well, it also goes to show you how confidence breeds confidence. You just need to get a little bit more under your feet and then you feel a little bit better. Then you feel a little bit better. The
Yeah.
truth is that nobody knows everything in real estate. We all are stumped. We all have questions. It's hard all the time. You need to bullshit your way through a lot of conversations sometimes when people ask you some tough questions. But you're doing a great job. So congrats. It's awesome.
Yeah, we don't stop talking to each other, and there's no lack for network events, seminars, workshops, things on Facebook, discussion, podcast platforms. Everybody's trying to say the same thing, only they're trying to say it in another way so that you can get it. And one of the things that I don't know if any of you are on Clubhouse, but Clubhouse has some pretty amazing conversations. And I host on one of them, and then I always get pulled up on the stage on the other one, even though I try to kind of hide in the audience. But the things we talk about are things where we're all, we've all been in the business for quite a while, but we're asking questions of how do you do this, or what are you doing now, or the game changed. Like, any one of us that have been around for a while will tell you the game changed, and it didn't change. Like, things evolve and they go in a cycle. There's no cycle here. This has never been one before where we can go back and say, okay, historically, this is kind of what we can predict. It just is not. That's not the way things are right now. So we're all just, as I said before, stumbling around either in the dark or the light. I'd prefer to stumble around in the light because then I won't hurt myself quite as much. But and that's what these conversations do, just like what you guys are talking about, like they're helping each other. So Dana, what did you get from this 365 system and managing yourself? And
so honestly, today his message couldn't have come at a better time, because I am really struggling with a balance of mom life and work life. And he had some good ideas about, like making it a routine, getting up and getting ready, like first thing. And so today's first day home with my husband at work and all of the 4 kids home, and it was a disaster and it was not good. We made the best of it, but there's adjustments that have to be made, and my kids really love to entertain. So it's a zoo here most days. And so anyway, that was really the waking up before they all get up. And, if I don't do that this summer, I could see like 9:30, 10 o'clock, and I'm still not even like ready or dressed for the day, because it's like one thing after another. So something definitely has to be worked out there. I don't know what that is, but I'll write it down. We'll work on it.
Start. And Tim, I know that these same people. of the people that I know in the Buffini system who've been around for a while, and some that even maybe 10 years, not versus maybe 20, but the ones who are successful, and I do not do this, I got to tell you, I do not do this. They get up at 4:30 in the morning and they are on their Peloton. They've had their smoothie. I mean, it's kind of disgusting, but
Okay, well, I'm not probably going to go that far.
They post it on Facebook. I mean, in like by the time one of the gals that I meet with and I'm a co-host with, it starts at 7 o'clock in the morning. This thing in California, it's 9 here because that's kind of like, to me, that's reasonable, and I don't even have to be on camera. It's just voice. But I mean, they've like accomplished a load already before the day starts. But the good news of that is that because the rest of their systems are organized, and can't even expect for this to be happening yet for you, Dana, because the rest of their systems are organized, they've been doing it long enough, they have these things in place that just happen on their own in their business. They don't have to think about it all the time. They have a good life. Like, they don't work every day of the week. They get to see their kids, every one of their kids' games and whatever, ballet and whatever those things are. And they go out with their friends. And so there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And if getting up at 1 hour or half an hour before your kids, if that's a start, then do it. Then I like to be ahead of the game. It's just like, I like to have people owe me more than I owe them. So I always like to have something that, that I can say, okay, well, I'm not going to walk into chaos when my eyes open. And I think that's a super message for you.
I usually go into summer with a game plan, and this year has just been so upside down with me not being at their beck and call that I didn't have a game plan, and today was apparent that I need one. So we're going to work on that. A to-do list, he mentioned that too, and that would really help because they had me going every which direction today. Like, even now while I'm having this conversation, my 17-year-old just showed up with 7 people that just walked by to swim. So I want to find a hole to crawl into and lock the door. Soundproof, hopefully.
So funny.
But I had a few questions and I just wanted to throw them out there if anyone has any ideas. So I've been working on addresses, and I don't know if you guys have done this or not. I've found the quickest response to a lot of the people that I had was through Facebook Messenger. And then I just kind of put that out there and they respond quickly, and then I have it on record, and I've just been filling out addresses that way. So I don't know if anyone's tried that, but it's worked well for me that way. So I guess, I wanted to start doing pop buys, and I think I'm just putting probably too much thought into it, but is there any like really good ideas for a new agent pop buy that anyone's done that would be, easy to kind of?
I haven't thought about that. Like one specific new agents. What, Carol, you got something?
I think that the first thing that came to my mind, and it's because it's spring, but some kind of a little plant that can be something on a tag that says, I want you to be part of my growth in my, in my new career. And it's springtime, and, something that somebody would have, who wouldn't like, and wouldn't be that expensive. Maybe even a spice, an herb, something that, something like that actually people can take, that have, and they can think about you. I don't like to get real, I'm not the kind that does a lot of the pop by things, ideas that, unless they have a meaning to them. They have to have some kind of a meaning. Like, probably the most, generic kind of thing that I ever did that was probably the best pop by we ever did was washer fluid when it was snowing. But they were super heavy, and the back end of the car was leaning for weeks, carrying those around. But Yeah, something that has some kind of meaning, that has a cute little card note on it.
Okay.
That's what came to my mind. Anybody have any thoughts or ideas on that?
I saw on Pinterest, I saw someone did a pack of forget-me-nots.
Mhm.
And then, they had like a cute little card with it and a saying, but I kind of wanted it to be maybe since I'll have a smaller group, maybe it to be more of a plant rather than just seeds. Maybe that would be good to mail, but
Yeah.
at least for now, since I have a smaller group that I'll be giving them to, maybe something a
Yeah.
little more,
Yeah.
but but maybe a plant would be,
Yeah.
as long as
And
I don't
there
kill
is
it before I get it delivered.
There's
That
a
would be good.
website, a gal who's in Buffini actually owns a website. It's called popeyeideas.com. Is it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. And she's a Buffini person, so she understands the whole Popeye, and it's filled with Popeye ideas.
Okay.
She's the one that gave me the idea of those little LED plastic rings at Easter time that you put inside of a plastic Easter egg, and you light the little light up, and then the kids can take the ring afterwards and put the ring, and it's for a nighttime Easter egg hunt. So they're glow in the dark, and this was
cool.
one of the ideas. She has 5 kids, and so she's constantly thinking of things to do.
So it's possible? Okay, good.
Yeah, it is
That's
possible.
good to know.
Actually, she did an ATA for us, and you could go back and
Yep.
see the ATA.
It's in our
What's her last name?
Okay.
Isla?
You're off.
You're off. Yeah.
Yeah, you're off.
Yeah.
So yeah, Dana, in our online and the webs, go to the ATA archives and just go back like 6 months for Popeyes.
Peggy Uriff, Urieff, I think.
Alicia, what were you gonna ask something?
I was gonna say too, I actually just, for the teachers and the principal at, Julia works at my son's school. But I got some like eCreamery gift cards. I know that was one of the things that you guys were doing, but if you get the gift card, they actually will give you like a little pint to put it in. It's actually really cute. So then at least if you were dropping it off, it wouldn't melt or anything like that.
Yeah.
And then you could kind of have them in your car too. And I know Audra had the idea of saying something like, it'd be a treat to work with you. And that kind of applies to the hot weather and summer and things like that too, just as a thought.
That's good. And if you're consistent, the most important thing is to be consistent. Is if you're gonna, if you, instead of just one-off, this Popeye thing, and then they don't do ever again, or they don't hear from you. But if you follow it up, remember what he said about that, just one layer on top of another and keep following up. It took, what was the numbers that do any of you remember the numbers of the amount of time that it takes to make a sale? The amount of contacts to make a sale. 80,
Marcus raised his hand.
what did you say, Ann?
Mar-
Yeah, 80% between 8 and 12 contacts before you make a sale. Well, and you don't have to be in somebody's face. You don't have to be doing lunch with them. It's the drip, drip, drip of a phone call, a note. They get your monthly email. You follow up with them on a question that they asked you. Anything that says, "Oh my God, somebody's paying attention to me." What is that? I mean, that's something that people just are hungry for attention, and for somebody that actually is looking at them in the eye and actually like hearing them and responding to them. Why would you not remember them?
Totally true.
Yeah.
Love
It's a
it.
stacking effect. That's what it was, the stacking effect. So one on top of the other. I think that'd be a great idea, Dana. And even if it's 10 people, however many it is, it's that many more that have now connected with you and seen a piece of your heart. And you've reached out to them. So, okay, who did I miss?
Marcus and Jack.
Marcus. Oh, Marcus, you finally changed your name from Michaela Peterson. Come on, Marcus.
Tracy, I was kind of in the same boat as you. Had a bunch of graduation parties to go to. It was nice. It was seeing a bunch of people I haven't seen for a long time. And I actually sent all my business cards out to them. So that was exciting.
Good.
Good.
And
Did you
then,
write personal notes? You wrote personal
Yeah.
notes and sent your business cards? Great.
well, yeah, and I handed them out at the graduation parties.
Mhm.
So
Cool.
and then the next day, I guess I saw my grandma, and if there was an A++ category, she would fall in that. She's known about the journey that I've been on, and she's just nothing but positive energy.
I
So
love that.
she's
You can't, it doesn't get any better than that.
no,
It doesn't get any better than that. Yeah. And even if your grandma never wants to sell her house, she could keep you busy for a long, long time.
yeah. I'd hire her for my personal assistant if I could.
Great.
You just need to teach her what to say when she refers you. So teach her what to say so that when she's out in the world, you need her to know exactly what to say so that business comes back to you. You could teach her to become a walking, talking billboard.
What should he teach her to say, Tim?
Oh God, I don't know. That pressure, I don't know. It's more like coming up with the right words that make her feel comfortable talking to the people she knows. And what it is, she needs to identify what it is about you that she thinks you're going to be good at. You know, my grandson is going to do such a great job because he takes great care of his clients. I don't know what that word is. And then get her to understand why she's referring you. And then it'll make it easier for it to roll off her tongue when she's out in the world referring you. So you need to give her a reason. But yeah, you already have an advocate right there. Teach her what to say and how to say it. And actually, we're going to get to that too, aren't we? Somewhere in this, it's going to teach us on how to get people to refer you and what to say.
Yeah.
I think.
And today in this week?
No, in this
No,
class. not
Yeah, in this class, yes. Yeah, and I think that's one of the biggest challenges that we have is when somebody says, my neighbor, such and such was looking, they want to buy a house, so I gave them your name. I'm always like, oh crap. Like, so if I was teaching them, I would say to them, and I do say this to people, is, you know what, why don't you reach out to me? Let them know that you have somebody that you trust. Reach out to me and I'll give them a call. So rather than that, here's somebody's business card, it goes in your pocket. Next winter, you pull out your jacket, you see this business card that's been there since last year and you forgot where it even came from. So Brian will give us step by step on how to actually do that, to make sure that people actually do reach out to you. Or that they do a really good solid referral. I get a lot of referrals when somebody in the Buffini system, in a few of the groups that I'm with, will say, does anybody have a contact, have an agent that they would refer to in Omaha, Nebraska? And somebody will put my name in there and say, in fact, it happened today, Carol Souza is your gal. And then they'll text me and say, I just referred you. Just gave your name and referred. I'll go on there and I'll message that person immediately. Like, I'll reach out immediately. I won't get into this big long, oh, this one's the best, that one's the best, this one's the best. I just immediately go right to that person. So there's ways of circumventing this whole, when somebody's looking, sometimes they will just reach at whoever is on topic with that particular subject at the time. So referrals are worth gold. And you just have to know how to kind of retrain people's conversations. So,
right.
All right, Jackie, I think you're the tail end here. Did I get everybody else? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, Jackie.
So I think the thing that really stuck out for me was when he did talk about the stacking effect, because that's when I was like, oh, now it's all kind of coming together. Now it's starting to, I guess, become a little more clear.
Yeah.
Why we have all the different groups and what we do with them and that kind of thing. So that was kind of like a little bit of a light bulb, I guess, that went off for me during the videos. And my kids will be out of school this week, so I'll be able to have more of a I've already kind of in my brain worked out kind of how my schedule I need to set in. I am not a morning person, so I need to set an alarm, and get up every day and get certain things done. So that was kind of good to hear that. So I've only had my license for, I don't know, not even 8 weeks. So I sent out my cards and announcements about a week, 10 days ago. I have my database. It's small.
Mhm.
Most of my people are in Lincoln because lived in Lincoln for 16, 17 years. So I think I sent out like 65 or 70. I did start my Facebook page. I already have like almost 100 likes, I think, on the business Facebook page. And then what was the other? Oh, so some of the cards and stuff that I had sent out, I hear from people and they'll say, oh, I loved your card, or congratulations, that kind of thing. I had one person reach out to me and kind of talking a little bit about, oh, I might be interested in this or I might be interested in that. So trying to figure out if they're just talking about real estate or if they're really going to like actually
Right.
take a step to look for something. So kind of working through that. My best friend told me that she was going to sell her house by herself and she didn't need me. So that was.
Oh, that's so hard. Oh,
And,
we all had those.
Everybody's in this mindset of, and I talked to Tim with this. I talked to Tim briefly about this last week, but she and her brother are both in the mindset. Her brother wants to hire an agent who will sell it for 3.5%.
Good.
So,
Good luck.
so I'm kind of running into these little battles with people who look at Zillow all the time, and Zillow's will tell you what your house is worth, and so I'm kind of getting into these discussions with people, but these are like my best friends too. So they're stubborn and they're not necessarily going to listen to me because they've already made up their minds.
Yeah.
So that's been kind of
Well,
interesting.
they're testing you too.
Huh?
They're testing you.
Oh, I'm sure. But and the thing is, she has told me, she goes, I will give your name out to everybody. So I mean, I know she will, but that's just how we are.
Yeah.
Did my first open house this weekend for Serena. So that was interesting, and showed three homes for one of Angie's clients because she was out of town.
Mm-hmm.
This weekend.
Good.
So it's huh?
What was interesting about the open house? What was interesting about the open house?
Well, I think the interesting part of it was really one of the girls that came through, she seemed young. I mean, like 24, 25. And I started talking to her and she said she didn't have an agent. And I heard her, she'd go into the room and she was having an entire conversation with herself, like out loud. And I was like, does she think somebody's in there with her? Like, it was just so funny to listen because you can hear her, and she went to the basement and I could hear her go, oh my gosh, this is, I mean, so it was just this, she's kind of this quirky girl. And she hadn't even pre-approved for anything. So I kind of talked her through the process about, getting with the lender and seeing what you can qualify for. And, of course, gave her my card and the whole spiel. So I don't know how serious she was. I don't know, but it was just like, she was just kind of this quirky little
Amusing.
That's funny.
neighbor came over. So I talked with him for a little bit because he had thought about buying it. And I think the other ones were appointments that came through. So yeah, it's really just about, how different everybody is and
You learn a lot in I think open houses are one of the best things for a new agent to do. You learn so much if you ask questions. If you're a question asker, you can get out of anything. Like you can just keep it. Even the people that are like your friends that are asking you questions, you just ask questions back. Oh, is that something that's important to you?
right.
Is that a priority to you? Just if you keep asking questions back, it's very, very interesting because you'll get it's almost like a political rhetoric. People only know as much as what they're exposed to. And by questioning, you can actually start to learn what you need to do on your end because you already know how people are thinking. So it's good. They're helping you. And, it's the time that you take to actually become very clear about what you do and how you do it and understanding the whole picture. And it's not an easy picture, but people will ignorantly help you to understand it by just, they'll tell you who they are, and what they understand and know. So we assume.
I just had a busy week, just a lot of different things coming at me.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm going to start getting into the personal notes and the pop buys thing here, probably the beginning of June once kind of things. calm
Good.
down.
Real quickly, Brian talked about, and this is one of the most important things, the win the day theory. Do any of you remember the win the day formula? Can you
Was
tell
that
me?
in this week?
Huh?
No, never mind. Go on. Go on.
Okay. Win the day, what do you have to do? How many hours do you have to do? Two. Win the week, how many days?
4.
And win the month, how many weeks?
3.
3. Win the year, how many
8.
months?
8.
8.
Anybody can do that. Anybody can win because you don't have, what gets so frustrating is trying to do it every single day. And I think this will help you too, Dana, is if you have just this period of, and if you can't do 2 hours, start with 15 minutes. But if you're consistent about it, you'll win the week. Next week, do half an hour. Next week, do 45 minutes. Just keep on going until you have some consistency, but 2 of those periods of time a day will help you. And what is it, 4 of those a week? 3 of those a week. 3.
Once I build my bunker, I feel like I'm really gonna knock it out of the park. So,
Build your bunker. I love that.
I mean, we'll see how it goes, but
Okay, real quickly, I'm going to do a share screen and we're going to go to Referral Maker. And I just want to show you just some important pieces to start with so that you can start.
Sorry, can I just ask one quick question?
go ahead.
You talked about like consistency. Tim, Carol, anybody that's been an agent for a while, did anybody start part-time, and like how did you know when to take the leap and like go full-time and try to let go of your current career? I feel like I'm really struggling right now because I have 2 nursing jobs. I'm trying to do this. I'm also planning my wedding. I'm getting married in less than a month. Like I just have a lot going on. And like, how do you know, like, does anybody have any tips for me? Like how to know when the right time is, I guess?
I want to hear these answers. Julia, would you like to jump in and give your, I'm making a joke because Julia she just jumped right in.
Yeah, well, have any good tips, but I was just gonna say, when I tried to do it part-time, I wasn't very successful.
Either.
I really couldn't be consistent. I didn't feel like. So now that I have stopped trying to like, do bartending or just do random other things to make money because I'm so scared that I'm not going to make money, I've made a lot more progress.
And I will say too, I've been licensed since February. And I had a couple colleagues I was working with right off the bat, and it was a lot. I felt like I was just, chicken with my head cut off. And I know it's new, but my other job I'm very secure in. So even with that, it kind of made me see that, at least for me and my personality, that I'm kind of an all-in person. I saw quickly that I could not manage the back and forth. But I think it might be like a personality thing based on how you work.
I think it's also a financial thing that I was told early on when I started in real estate that I needed to have 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses in the bank. And I had just about that. And I felt like I was operating with, it's a euphemism, kind of statement, but with a gun to my head. Like I was very fortunate that I hit the floor running. I started in Buffini right away and was able to, my first sale was at 29 days. My second sale was at 30 days. This is early 2000s. So, but I think that one of the biggest things is you have to feel like you are not operating with the financial piece in the front of your mind all the time. And it usually will take about 3 to 6 months worth of, and I'd say 6 months of living expenses so that you can relax into it and not go nuts when something falls out. I can remember doing a deal with an agent that we were supposed to close on Friday, and the closing got put off until the following week. And this agent said, if it's after Friday, I have to give you another phone number because my phone's being cut off. This is lots of years ago. But I mean, operating like that it just can't work. So I'd say that would be a clue for me, would be when you feel like you have some financial stability, or you have, a spouse, a partner, a husband, wife, some kind of other flow of income that keeps you on a budget until you get that flow going and learn as much as you can. Tim, you want to add to that?
Yeah, well, the same thing. I totally agree. When I got into real estate, I was still serving tables, waiting tables at night. And I was making what I thought would be money I could not replace because I did really well waiting tables. And I did it for a year. And but it really wasn't until I did really well in real estate pretty quickly in the late 90s. And then, but it wasn't until I quit my job that my business just absolutely exploded. Once I was there. Now, to Carol's point, you got to pay the bills. This isn't, sometimes you do have to juggle both. Maybe you get the nursing down. That's the nice thing about your position, Hannah, is that you're able to just take less hours.
Yeah.
And so that you're able to wean yourself off.
Mhm.
And so my recommendation, to be honest, would be to wean yourself off. You also, in your position, you're able to continue to have relationships with those people you're working with and have those connections for referral sources. So in your position, and this may not be for everybody else in the room, I would work your way to less hours to the point where you're just working, maybe one day a week, one
Yeah.
shift a week.
Yeah, that's been my plan. So I just kind of wanted to get some feedback if anybody's been there and.
Have your expectations be fitting for the amount of time that you can invest, and move your expectations up as your success begins to happen more. And the more systems that you have in place, the more things that are, you push the button and your e-report goes out for the month versus sitting down, inputting every single address, email address. There's things like that you won't realize how much it takes away from you, that you don't have to feel like, oh my God, I haven't been in touch with people this month. No, it's automatically went out on the 15th to everybody in your email. At least that touch took place. So bit by bit.
The reason that I'm able to because I do a lot of business, I juggle a lot, and I have systems in place, and now I have a staff of other people to help me with it. And you work to that point. You just you just work up to it. You improve. You do more business. You improve. You tweak it. You do more business, and that's how it works.
And you work in tandem with other people as well. That is, 1 times 1 can be 11.
Yeah.
If those are two powers that come together with the same intent. And you've got a whole team of people around you to help you. Don't think that you're going to go from 0 to 100. Most races, as Brian says, are won by 3 yards in a cloud of dust. The football games where it's just 3 yards, 3 yards, 3 yards. They get a first down, 3 yards, 3 yards, 3 yards. All of a sudden they're at the goalpost. So just be easy on yourself. And take a break. Don't let it overwhelm you. None of this is worth it as a job part. As the satisfaction of what you're doing and helping people, that's worth it, but not as a job. Dana, you got something? You're muted.
Sorry, it's just the parade of kids leaving.
No.
Sorry. They were waving through the window. I was just saying goodbye. I'm sorry.
All 7 of them. All 7 of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
I hope they all left with him, but
Yeah.
who knows? So
Anything else?
I'm sorry.
I know we're almost out of time, and I'm not going to get to go to referral maker again. So let's finish up with any other just ahas that you had from all of this. Like, I think that's kind of the most important. Like, what
I like that Jackie had an aha once she understood the stacking effect and how it actually there is a plan. There's a larger picture plan. I like that she had that aha.
Well, and I love that Nicole and Marcus, both of you guys kind of woke up. Like, you woke up to what was already sitting and cooking, and you feel really like, okay, I'm riding this bike now, Like, I'm not playing around. You can throw the training wheels off. I'm going to go for it. And if you just each week, one thing at a time, just add one thing. And 2 hours a day or 1 hour a day. I don't really care. 5 freaking minutes a day, as long as it says you are disciplining yourself to do something that says, I worked today. And to me, working is lead generation, because you're building your business that 10 years from now, I promise you, 5 years from now, you're going to get phone calls. You will be able to predict how much business you're going to do in a year, because it will be that kind of system that's set in when somebody thinks of real estate, they think of you.
Yeah.
So many of your clients will only buy 1 or 2 houses in their lifetime, but they could be worth 20 referrals. So, okay. We'll deal with, by the time we get to referral maker, you guys will just be whizzes at it. So then you can
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt that.
No, it's perfectly fine. I want to, Tim and I want to go the way that you guys need us to go. And that's why we do a lot of these kinds of conversations versus just, teaching and doing that whole systematic. You guys have been through, you've watched the videos, you can watch them again. You've got the books, you've got the work to do. Just start ticking it off. And next week, another one of you will say you had your first sale or your, some other kind of big sale. So any other last questions or comments? Dana, you can go take care of your 42 children that are in and out of the house.
They're gone. Do you guys want to continue another hour? I think the house is kind of free.
Tim,
First time all day.
Have you ever seen Wendy, my daughter-in-law? She looks just like Dana.
No, I've never met her.
I'll show you a picture sometime. You look exactly like her.
I have to remember that.
My son in Denver's wife. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Well, thanks, everybody.
And you gonna go to sleep over there? You look tired.
Me?
Yeah.
It's just the way.
Chilling.
I think it's just dark. I can see better if it's all dark, because I'm,
It's
kind of old.
Time for all of us to shut it down.
Yeah. I
Okay.
understand. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Thanks for
Night.
showing up for yourselves tonight. Talk to you later.
Right.
Bye.